What's going on with Donald Trump?
Right. So that's exactly right. I mean, these protesters, not just the Senate protesters, but of course the hundreds that occupied the Cannon House office building yesterday, breaking the law. They're not permitted to demonstrate in an office building. Nonetheless, of course, they will all get off scot-free. Jesse, as you know, I was in Washington this week and attended the historical gag order hearing in Judge Tanya Chutkan's courtroom on Monday morning. And it was a surreal experience, I have to say. Listening to an assistant U.S. attorney, Molly Gaston, who is not elected in any form, just a lifetime bureaucrat for the Department of Justice, and a Jamaican-born Democratic judge discuss in open court what Donald Trump, not just a former president and presumptive GOP presidential candidate, but a man who has created a business empire in this country, employed hundreds of thousands of people and their families over the course of decades. To have these two unaccountable bureaucrats talk about, discuss, debate, and consider what he can say as he's running for president really was galling. And at one point, Jesse, it got so ridiculous that Molly Gaston and Tanya Chutkan were talking about whether Donald Trump can say crooked Joe Biden on a campaign trail and whether a comment like that would violate special counsel Jack Smith's gag order. It's just another escalation in our slide towards a banana republic style country. And this is another unprecedented move in that direction.
Julie, it's always sobering when we have these talks, but I feel obligated to keep having them, to wake people up to the reality of it, because there's a whole lot of pie in the sky talk out there right now. And I don't think people understand they're not going to let him out. He's not going to get out of this. And I realize, especially for a hardcore Trump fan, that is hard to hear. He can overcome. He's going to do it. He's caught up in an evil system. Even Donald Trump, he ain't getting out of it.
He's not. And I write on my Substack, Jesse, Declassified with Julie Kelly, how this gag order really is a contempt trap. And it's not just a contempt trap for Donald Trump. This gag order applies to his lawyers, and it also applies to surrogates, what Jack Smith called in his proposed order surrogates, what Tanya Chutkan calls in her final order, astoundingly, just others. So it applies to who knows? Does it apply to Donald Trump Jr.? Does it apply to his campaign spokesman? Does it apply to supportive members of Congress? Furthermore, in the order, it applies to reasonably foreseeable witnesses. This includes it could be dozens of people tied to the 2020 election. Remember, this indictment deals with what Jack Smith calls Donald Trump's attempt to overthrow or overturn the 2020 election. We heard in court that this gag order will prevent Donald Trump from saying anything negative about former Attorney General William Barr, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley. It also restricts his ability to publicly criticize Mike Pence, who is not just a potential witness, but also, as you know, Jesse, January 6th is Mike Pence's entire platform for running for president. Donald Trump can't respond. So anyone who has described this as limited or restricted or narrow, this gag order is anything but. It is a contempt trap set up by Jack Smith and authorized by Judge Tanya Chutkan.